Welcome to another episode of Bubblegum Connects. Today we're connecting with a special guest who's joining us here in studio, Louisa Zondo, who wrote her recent book about healing, memory, trauma, and loss. Welcome, Louisa Zondo, to the studio. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Mika. Thank you for having me.
So, what about this time made you think that it's time for me to put my story down in words, in such honesty, and like I feel like there isn't anything you hid, but you wrote everything down. What about this time said now?
I have said about it that finally I have been able to start telling my story. And the story, the book, comes out of a long life of things being obscured. I have known for a long, long time that the ability to tell my story to myself, to my family, to my children, and to others broadly, was directly linked with the healing process. I knew this, and I tried many times actually. I tried to tell my story. I tried to tell it to myself. I tried to write to specifically to my son Riky, because he had asked to understand certain things about life, and this would have been things that bothered him. He wanted to know certain things about what was happening with me, which impacted him. And I promised that I would write letters to him to try and explain that. But I found that I was not able to. It just did not come out. I tried, but it just did not come out.
And now that the book is out in the world, what do you hope people will get from it, especially people who have experienced similar bouts of grief and loss and trauma?
I've come to realize that the book is an ongoing process for me. It has caused me, one, to feel that I have community that holds me. So when I started writing, I had been through therapy, which made me realize that I actually live better in vulnerability. I live better in openness, and I was learning to let go of the secrecy, let go of impressions, let go of, just be. So I was learning that from therapy. But relating now to others on the book is just going deeper into allowing me to really open up and drop pretenses as a matter of constant state of being. That's a constant state of being that I'm being pulled into. My hope for others is that they will find their own ways of coming to terms with the pain of their grief, their loss, but also feel that they are held to grow in some ways from that place of darkness and real tyranny. It really is tyrannical to be in grief sometimes.
See that. And how do you think that especially, I wouldn't want to use the word broken, but we're still developing as a society. How do you think we can come together and have those conversations, especially the conversations around mental health, around gender-based violence? How do we start the process of healing deep trauma and deep wounds?
It's everything. My belief is that it's everything that is available, which needs to be embraced and allowed to contribute to the opening up of the safe spaces where we can really pour out our hatred for the state we are in and start considering real meaningful ways of getting over that, getting over what the hatred has done to us, and create new ways of encountering life. So it is for me about the elevation of everything that is being done towards building together a world that is more in line with the aspirations we have.
For much of the book, you go through a lot of events that are traumatic, assault, gender-based violence, but it feels that you sort of took those events, reading it in your stride. There wasn't ever like a time where you broke down emotionally, where you just stopped and you couldn't carry on until Rick's death, where it felt like for the first time you were feeling pride. So what changed in you to allow yourself to grieve and to feel compared to all the other events of pain that you had experienced in your life?
I would say a lot felt like it was sustainable. I've used this language that through my life, I would put things in boxes and seal the boxes. So I had many boxes that remained sealed. Things just were comfortably kept in those places. And that felt like it was sustainable. It's normal life. Everything is okay. We can continue in that mode. There were instances where that was threatened. And then the big issue of being faced with the loss of my son. I don't think I have words still to explain what happened to me at that point, but I try in the book to put some words to it. It's that effect of everything going away. It's that effect of knowing nothing, and that effect of, okay, I'm moving, but I don't think life can continue. I'm moving, I'm doing things that I'm expected to do, that I know I must do, but I don't think life can continue. That shattering and the absence of even a vision of what is possible from this point.
As a mother to a creative, there are parents who are weary, especially in South Africa, of having their children become actors, musicians, performers, just because of the sort of landscape of the entertainment industry and just the worry of drugs, of alcoholism. What would your advice to those parents be who don't want their children to go into that industry?
I wonder if I would have advice. But I think there is a duty on all of us, knowing how the industry operates. There is a duty on all of us to contribute to changing it. There's a duty on all of us to contribute to the support of the people, especially the young people entering the creative spaces, to feel supported, to feel the strength in their knowing of who they are, true self, knowing deeply, truthfully who they are. And therefore, bringing that opportunity for the industry to be changed by those who are participating in it, because they come in with those capacities to be themselves, to value themselves, to value their talents, to value their contributions to the industry, and therefore not immediately fall into the dark sides of the industry as they grapple to find themselves in it.
What message do you have for sort of women who, in the country, women across the world who don't have access to therapy but have been through trauma and pain and loss? What is, especially mothers who have lost their children?
Mika, that is such an important question. This is such an important question because even though I speak of access to professional therapy, and my access was actually access to somebody who viewed therapy with such depth. But there are things about healing that we can access. And some of those things are about just this idea of every human being able to find somebody that they can relate to, that they can open up to, somebody who makes them able to make sense of what has happened to them, somebody who makes them able to make sense of life, whether it's a grandma, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's somebody in my faith community, whether it's somebody in my sporting environment, but somebody who is able to give me that sense that I can pour out and they can hold that space for me and they can help me see that I remain precious and that I can be supported through whatever it is that I'm going through.
Lastly, how can we as people in the creative industry, as South Africans, honor the memory of Riky, especially when it comes to mental health?
In the past month, we have been journeying with the mental health, mental well-being campaign. It's called the Stronger campaign that has been launched by the Riky Foundation. It's based on a song that comes out of the tweets, the interviews, words that Ricardo shared with us when he was alive. And these have been put together into a song which calls on us to come together, calls on us to care for each other, and gives us that hope that we are stronger together. So if we could allow ourselves the opportunity to be vulnerable with each other, to care for each other and build from that, I believe that we will be honoring the legacy of Riky. And the campaign also calls on us to donate towards the campaign, and the proceeds from the song will be used to support individuals and organizations that are working in the mental health space, especially the smaller ones that really are doing tremendously good work in the communities that they are working in. So yes, that I would propose that all creatives just look at their spaces, build community, be supportive, and there's the Stronger campaign, contribute towards the Stronger campaign. It's *102 *704. So the book is available at bookstores. I think all major bookstores would be able to give you a copy. And really appreciate you going out and getting a copy. The proceeds from the sale of the book also go towards the Riky Foundation for the promotion of activism. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bubblegum Connects. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.